All right. Sorry. So the first video, like I said, was basic market structure, learning with price action, introducing the 5 minute opening range break. The second one we did is multi time frame analysis just by looking at candlesticks, market structure, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, market structure shifts, stuff like that. The reason I did that, and people are often wondering, because everyone jumps in the Discord when they first want to learn, hey, what indicators do I use? What, EMAs, MAs, use this, VWAP. But the most basic thing is you have to realize, and I've said in the chat, the only thing that pays is price. So for me, I like to learn how to how to read price action, basically candlesticks, because that's what pays you the money. It's not the EMAs. When you put a trade in, you're not saying whether the 5 or the 9 or 12 EMAs is going up or down. That's not what's going to pay you. What's going to pay you are these candlesticks, right? If you go long, you want green ones. You go short, you want red ones. Very simple. That's not complicated. Now, after that, what you want to do is once you learn that, then you use indicators to help you. So that's why I did the series kind of this way for wondering. So, as before, we're going to start off with a plain chart. Nothing fancy, standard, open up, new chart. It pretty much looks like this. Okay. You'll have, when you open a standard chart in TradingView, you'll get the ticker, obviously, and you'll get the volume down here. That's it. So let's take it from here. So let's go through this real quick. As of right now, this is the daily, right? And let's mark off what we have going on. Right here. I have this point here, right? It's a higher low because it's higher than that one, correct? Then you have a higher high. Over here, it got a little wonky. You have a higher low, but you didn't quite get the higher high yet. So this is where we are a little bit cautious. Then what did it do? It broke here. At this break, you have what we call a break of structure. It went up, made a higher high, came down, a higher low. What is it? Bullish, correct? Higher high, low, nice gap up, and it looks like we made a higher high, and we're waiting to see a higher low. Everyone got that so far? I'm going through it quickly because we went through it on the previous one. So I'm just trying to catch up, get you guys, reminded of what's going on. So higher time frame is bullish. Let's drop down, say, an hour. Here's an hourly chart. So basically, you have to realize what I'm seeing here on these candles, I'm dropping down and seeing what's going inside that daily candle. So there's my 9:30 open. And you're going to here. That's one day, right? Right through there. Here, all the way to here. That's Friday. That's Monday. So this is what we mean by candlesticks are fractal. So it all depends when people put out call outs and people ask, hey, when do I get in? When do I get out? Chris said he's going to go in on that play. Well, you have to realize wherever it is, a pro, a scout, whether it's Mario, Curtis, myself, Alpha, Sean, whoever, what time frame are they looking at to trade? You know, that makes a difference because what's going on in here, if you're trying to day trade, you're probably going to be concentrated in like an hour and lower, probably, right? If you're swing trading, you're most likely going to go out to a daily or a weekly. So, for example, if I'm going to trade this for a swing, maybe I got in right about this candle down here, right? Stops under that low. I'm going to go long. So when this dip comes down, if my stop was here, it's not going to knock me out. But everyone in the Discord goes nuts because, oh, you told me to take calls today and it dropped down and I got knocked out. Well, you have to take everything into context. What's the time frame you're looking at? Even when you guys, I see you chat in the Discord talking about EMAs and MAs. Oh, it's at the 9 EMA, it's at the 5 EMA. Okay, that's great. I hope you know an EMA and an MA, if it's not locked to a period, it changes location depending on what time frame you look at. So if I'm on a daily, you tell me the 9, but you're looking at it on the 15. We're looking at two different things. Okay. So that's the whole context of learn price action. Then you can tack on your other nuances to assist you. Okay. So let's go down. I had a lot of questions in the Discord. A lot of people tried the 5 minute opening range break with some success. Some were still having a little problem with it. So let's take a look at that one real fast. And then I will introduce something new when it doesn't seem like the opening range break is working that day or that morning. Because most of the time it's a morning trade and you're done. And if you catch a good one, you're done for the day. So let me blow this up so everybody can see it nicely. So this is the first 5 minute candle for today, right? So you can do it on the 5 or you can do it on the 1. You're going to get the same thing. I like to do it on the minute because the entry to use it will be on the minute as well to get the most exact entry because it's a scalping method. Okay. So here's market open right at this candle. So what I'm looking for is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. Once I hit that 5 minute mark, I'm looking to mark off the highs and lows, including the wicks. Okay. So I want that one. And of the first 5 candles, that's my low. So we'll make that red. Okay. Everyone with me so far? So what I'm looking for here for the 5 minute opening range break, again, real quick. First 5 minutes, mark off high, low, including the wicks. Okay. All I'm looking for is price action to do is break and retest, which let's do with this. I'm looking for price action to go like this, like it did here. Hopefully break, come down, and go. That's if I'm looking for it to go long. To go short, I could be going something like this, like it did here. Came down, broke. There's my retest, push off. Now I'm in the trade, and you can write that down. Everyone with me so far? Any questions on that part?
Nope.
Okay. So that was a quick and dirty on it. I went into more detail in the first video. If anybody wants to go back and get it or hit me up. And on this type of trade, all you're looking for, as I tell everyone, is you're looking for 3 R's, right? If I'm going long, for example, if this actually went in the direction I want, I could put, oh, that's a short one. Sorry. There we go. You could go to the line. You could go under the low of the day. Lowest price for the day so far was there. That is also an option. And all you're looking to do then at that point is if you just watch the ratio, as I said before, you want to shoot for 3R, minimum 2R is what I always do. So that would be 2 roughly out there. Okay. 3R trade. Is going to
When
be
you
all the way
say
out here. Okay. So this is what you're interested in. Now, once it hits my target of 2R or 3R, whatever I think it's going to hit, and I'll show you in the next step. So hang on, how I target. Some people ask, how do you know it's going to go there and bounce? I'll show you that in a second. And as a quick review again, your R is going to depend on how far I'm risking. If I'm risking this, you see the ratio now? That's a 10-to-1 trade. Okay. So that's why I always tell people in the Discord, your risk is the most important thing to figure out. The rest of it, the market's going to take care of. For example, here, let's take the short. I saw this candle commonly called doji. Most likely, me, I probably would have got in on this. I'd have my stop here. I already hit 3R right there. Correct? And they kept going, actually. So, and I'll show you where this targeted, why I actually took this trade early in the morning. And you look at the ratio, that's a what, 9-1 on that one. Now the question comes into, hey, how'd you know where to target? Well, let's introduce something else, which I spoke briefly about. You're going to turn on extended hours on your chart. On extended hours, yours might be colored differently, whatever. I think it's standard this way. This is the night of the previous day. This is open, okay, on this part. All I'm looking for here is similar like opening range break. I'm looking for the high. Okay, so it's easy for you guys to see. This one. And then I'm going to mark off the low. So my pre-market low down there. Let's make lows red to keep everything consistent. You guys see that now? Yes? No? You guys can speak up.
Yeah, we can see it.
So here it is off the morning. Market opens. I wait for the 5. I marked it off. I actually took this trade earlier today. Off that doji candle, this is what I went in right there. I had my stop just above that wick. And I targeted pre-market low was my target. I did a couple of contracts I did on futures. So I had one at my 3R stage, which was roughly there. And then I had additional contracts here. Oops, wrong one again. I had the same thing. My stops there. But then on the other contracts, I let them run targeting this. And if you notice, that one's almost a 10-1 trade, right? Now the question comes into how do you know to target this or target that? Because then I'll tell you the next trade that I started to look for today. Anyone have any idea? I see a hand raised. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, do you trade with the after hours on or off once you get it charted?
Once I get it charted, once I get past the morning one, actually, I'll turn it off
Okay,
because once you mark the lines, everything will stay there. See?
okay, thank you.
So usually I mark it off and then I'm done. And my normal routine outside of this is I use anchored VWAP, so I'll anchor the first candle, but we'll get into that later. So is everybody with me on here?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So now the question comes into, right? You're probably thinking in your head, which everyone is scared to ask for some reason. How'd you know to target that? Why is that an area of interest? Doesn't work 100% of the time, just like anything in trading. Why? Anyone have a clue? Come on, somebody's got to have an idea.
That area was tested in pre-market.
It was tested in pre-market. You're on the right track. But when it did that in pre-market, what is that doing?
Showing you what support is.
You saw the price bounce from here, right?
Right?
You saw price bounce from here. So think of it the opposite way now. If you're a trader and you went long, what did you do if you went long in here? Say you went long there
Yes. It has to do with the
and you
stop
went
loss.
long. Say you went long there. I'm making this up as I go.
Is that Paul?
What do you see? What do you see here at that level
Is
constantly?
stop loss.
Stop loss. You're absolutely correct, sir. And if I go the other way,
Another stop loss.
correct. What are these areas called technically?
What is it? Something zone, supply zone, demand zone.
You can, but the most basic actually it's actually a liquidity zone.
Liquidity
Okay.
swing.
That is a liquidity zone. That's an
Got it.
area of liquidity. Why is it area of liquidity? Because it's probably not just Face or anyone else putting one order in, right? To move something like SPY, the largest ETF by assets under management in the world and trade it on a daily basis, it's going to take more than me, you, and all you guys in the Discord to make price move from here to bring it down. So that tells me there's a bunch of people who went short on this. Probably got orders, and there's probably limit orders even up here. Right? So that's why those areas become areas of resistance or support. But in all reality, all they are areas of interest for liquidity. That's how I know how to target this when I took that trade. I looked at this and I said, if they're going to push this higher, they're going to knock all these guys out. Because what happens when your stop loss gets triggered here?
You get kicked out.
You get kicked out. Let's make it simpler so I understand here. I have this order here to go long, right? What happens here? This is a buy order. What does my stop order do? It does the opposite. Sell, right? To get out. Correct?
Right.
Now think about it from the other side. If people are going short here, say you decided, hey, you know what? I think the market's going to tank because I think it's going to go. People are also sitting here saying, hey, if it gets back here, because the supply and demand traders and support and resistance traders, they're going to be waiting. Hey, if it gets here, I'm going to take it short. Why? Because it was actually lower yesterday. You see that? That's how they think. So you're going to start thinking like these traders. So they're going to go short, right? So their stop might be up here, right? They're targeting down here. Look what price action did. Came down, probably got him in their order, right? Had a limit order here, and then it came back out. So for them to close their short position, what has to happen?
They have to get knocked out.
Be specific. I'm going short. I'm selling, correct? What is my order to close? Buy. Because when you take a short position, you're theoretically what they call sell, right? My stop is the buy. So it's just like when you have when you short sell, you heard the term probably shares. I'm anticipating to sell these short, right? Take it down. So if I want it to go down, I'm selling. So what are my stop loss going to do? It's going to buy. Does that make sense? You guys clear on that?
Yeah.
So anytime you guys put in an order with a stop loss, depending on the direction, your that's executing your stop is the opposite direction of what you wanted to do. So if I'm taking it short, for example, and they bring it out, what does it do? It's gonna be a buy order, right? Now if a buy order goes in here, guess what? They're already pushing price up. I got kicked out. My buy orders, along with the probably few million, billion, whoever else is in there, all their orders are getting closed. So they're going to add to this buying pressure.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. Same thing up here. This is why we wait for break and retest and we don't go off a break. You could have said, hey, you know what? Oh, look at this. Price bounced off here. It's moving. It broke. All right, go long. Boom. Everyone's here. Right? Some people might have done it. I'm going to shoot for that. Guess what happened? Price went down here. So I have it a buy order. So my stop is a sell. Right? So all these people who jumped the gun early in the morning, they're all getting stopped out here on their longs. Right? So to close their long positions, what do you have to do? They have to sell. So they're just adding to this volume here. That's what they mean by say they're grabbing liquidity and move. Liquidity, think of it as fuel, energy for price action. Simple way to do liquidity is this. Remember the old Tom and Jerry cartoons where you had the old milkman come and deliver milk, to the house, right?
Yes.
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 So if I'm the milkman, I'm selling milk. Where are you most likely going to sell milk to? Where there's more people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where there's more available customers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if there's not enough customers, you're gonna go to them, like in the cartoons, right?
Right.
Because that's where the customer is. That's what they're doing. If I want to get a bunch of orders to buy to take it up higher, but I don't have enough sellers for me. So what does the market do? Pulls you in, get me the orders. Now the big boys put in their orders and like, okay, all these people had to sell, 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 sell. Now I'm going to buy it up and go. Does it make sense?
Yes.
You go
Yeah,
where the supply is when you want to buy something, right? There wasn't enough milk, or you want to go buy shoes. You go to a small store, they only got 5 pair of Jordans. You know they're going to sell out. So where do you go? You go to the bigger store, the bigger mall, where they probably got 50, 100 of them, right? We do it inherently as humans all the time. You just don't think about it. Market does the same thing. It's people behind all these candles, what they're doing. You just have to understand what they're trying to do. That's all reading price action and market structure is. So now they got all the orders. I'm buying them up. Now I'm good. So now what does price do? Just slowly keeps grinding up, keep grinding up. And actually, I took the bounce off of here. There was another confluence I had with AVWAP, but I'll show you guys that later. Or maybe at another time when we introduce that. But I just want you guys to understand the price action concept first. So you bought it here. Look where it went. You see it? Goes right up to the 5-minute opening range break. This is in between that area. Bounce, 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 tested. And I remember I told you most of your action, your volume, if you take that 5-minute, you're done in the morning. That was a beautiful trade. If you took that one, if you caught it, I was done here. 1, 2. I was done. I sat out the rest of the day. I think I took one all the way in the afternoon when I saw it come to this area, and I'll show you why. So over here, you're not in the middle of the day. It's just ranging. you're just going to get chopped to death, especially with options. And for you 0DTE guys and gals, you're going to get annihilated in here. Because look at the time. After that, you have just straight chop. Your theta is going to kill you. Now, I saw it here and I got interested. I was like, okay, it's going to go for here. I was busy at work. I couldn't take this. Otherwise, I probably would have. Reason? Here's my 5-minute opening range break high. It's not a clean break and retest with down dipped a little bit, but off of this candle, I would have took it. And maybe I'll do a little course or a video on basic candles and how to read them. Here's my 5-minute opening range break high and low, right? I see it go up. I see this nice push off. These are oftenly called dragonflies, right? Then I see volume taps, it goes. Now I'm waiting for the retest because that was my break. My retest kind of dug down deeper, but what I noticed is none of these candles closed underneath. Since it can't close underneath, what do I have here? This candle, same thing. It's a dragonfly again, as it's commonly called in the books. Basically, it's showing me don't worry about the color of the candle. Look at the structure of it. It's got a nice long wick on the bottom, short body on top. That means sellers tried to push this down. Buyer said nope. And then this candle, no wicks whatsoever, solid all the way pushed through, opening range high, pretty much closing above here. That was a good entry. That one, I would have went here. Say I got in somewhere here. I could take it here. And actually, at this point, I would try and shoot for that. Pre-market high at least. And that's a 2-to-1 trade. You guys see that?
Yes, sir.
I would have stayed in that longer. It took me a little bit of time, actually, just because the time of day. But on futures, that's a good thing about futures. I don't have theta decay. So I would actually just set it, leave it, and go back to my work. If it hits, great. If I get stopped out, okay, so be it.
Do you prefer the 1 minute to the 5 minute for your scalping?
For scalping, yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
Primarily because I have the SPY chart open or QQQ. Those are my two main ones I try to look at. Mostly SPY, and I trade it on futures. So for futures, it's a lot easier for me to set it and just watch the price action. So, for example, here on this one, on options, it's a little bit more difficult. For futures, it's easy for me to add to this position. So once it made this nice break, pulled up, I would added contracts here, which for me is just tap of a button, add, and I already have how many ticks because you work in ticks in futures for a stop loss and profit. And then what I do is I add to my winners. So at this point, I don't add to my losers. Once it did this, I saw this pullback with that huge wick and I saw it come up. I knew it was going to keep going. I added contracts here. So you add to my winners, not my losers.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
You cleared it beautifully all the way down.
How you know it was going to continue?
Just time in the seat. Probabilities. Trading is a game of probabilities. I could have been completely wrong. It probably could have came down here and reversed on me. That's completely possible too. But that's why I have a stop loss.
Okay, makes sense.
Trading is probabilities. Using technical analysis to get me the highest probability setup so I can win. That's the name of this business. I don't even call it a game anymore because to me it's business. Now you see how price hung around pre-market high the entire afternoon, right?
So that would be an area of resistance.
Area of interest. It wouldn't take it out. And then I can show you one more thing. If I go, which I think I mentioned before, I always like to always, because we just told you we're going to do it step by step. So you can add that. And what I like to do, there are indicators, and I'll show you guys those later that can do this for you. But I want you guys to learn it this way. It's like school, man. The old math class, they used to make you do it by hand before they let you use a calculator. Same concept. Pre-market, or sorry, previous day. Let me mark it so it's easier to read when I get over there. So I'm gonna put this as previous day high. And you can mark your, if you have trading with the same way, you mark it off and you can mark it down for yourself. I do sometimes and I don't. No, not pre-market, previous day low. Look what price did. So for me, that other trade I told you I took, I would have taken, targeted this when it went off of here, right? Now the next trade would have been to add to what we talked about, use the same concept with the pre-market high and low. Over here, you're looking for the same thing. You're looking for a break of this area, retest, and go higher. Just like the 5-minute. You can do the same thing with pre-market low. If this came down,
Okay.
went all the way through, break, retest. If it retests and bounces, most likely it's going to continue down. Just like it's continue up. So it's the same thing. Like you do have the 5-minute that I showed you earlier. You could do the same thing off of pre-market. Okay. But don't jump the gun because another trade, which you see me take here, what did I do here? I didn't look for a continuation. When I saw this candle, I took it the opposite direction. You see that? This area will not always do a breakthrough. Sometimes it'll do this. You know, it depends. That's why I say levels, you know, supply and demand zones, levels of support and resistance, which I got from actually Brian Shannon and his books and videos and what Mario has taught me. It makes a lot of sense. They're areas of interest. It's not absolute. This could have kept going. So I always say in the Discord, an area of support, you only know it really is after the fact. So what I'm doing here, as someone asked earlier, I'm playing probabilities. How am I playing probabilities? By looking at the price action. Right? I'm doing the same thing here. For the middle of the day. It broke up. And when I saw this, actually, is a little bit about my lunchtime. I saw the break. I was hoping for a retest. So I saw the break of here. This is what I was looking for to go higher. And you see it failed. Failed and ran right through. Then I saw it here again. I'm like, maybe it's going to try. And I'll show you why I didn't even try at that point. Over here, we're going to introduce another little concept I think some of you guys have seen me do. What do you have going on here? You have a small one it tried, you got a larger one here.
The triple top.
Not exactly a triple top. It's a head and shoulders pattern.
Oh, okay.
And you have, it's not perfectly clean, but you pretty much have a neckline right there. So on a live chart, this is what I was looking at. How is that? If I take this off for a second. There we go. Oftentimes you'll notice on these shoulders, you can just look at the cursor. That's my highest point. That's my left shoulder right there and the right shoulder. Okay. This is your neckline. I actually was waiting on this break. And I did take a trade on the breakdown. Now, how can you see that I know this? Well, I saw it come over here. It wasn't holding pre-market high. So now I'm biased going, doesn't seem to be enough volume and momentum for it to break through. Then I'm seeing volume come in here. I'm like, all right, and making another run for it. Maybe it'll do it this time. Nope, died quickly. But I noticed I kept bouncing from here. So I see this area here, here, all rejections. So that previous day high is acting as what? Resistance, right? Why? It goes back to what I said earlier. There's liquidity sitting up here, right?
Yeah.
So if I had to draw a nice little box, let's just do it from here. And we're gonna go. Let's change it red to make sure it knows it's resistant. And we're gonna extend this all the way right.
So would you say on a higher time frame that would be like a fair value gap right there?
This is not a fair value gap.
Okay.
Fair value gap is going to be you need 3 candles where the wick of here and here do not intersect. So technically you would have one right here, this area.
Okay.
And you can see it came into and rejected back down. So this area of resistance, and you want to get technical with smart money concepts and ICT concepts, it's an
Yeah.
order block. Area resistance, same thing, just different words for it. And you see if I marked that off from previous day, I had a line. If this helps you, you can do a rectangle the same way I did and mark that off as well. That'll work. Whatever works for you. For me, I have a line, so I'm just reading price action. You could do the rectangle like this and extend it right. So this way you can see it. And you can see how price came in that area. Boom, came down. Boom, came down. Try it again. Came down. And what makes you confident in the play, this part here, get a nice big wick, big red candle smashing it down. Right? And if you notice the second time around, it didn't even get up as high. So if I had to mark one for just that day, not including previous day, I can see that area right there. See how that area is holding? So right here, my bias turned bearish. And to go back from our first and second video, what do you have here? Set. Higher high, higher low, higher high, right?
Yeah.
That point of area, what did it do?
They rejected.
It rejected, but more importantly,
It broke the low.
Broke structure.
sorry, who
changed.
was that?
I broke your previous low.
It broke my previous low, which in your fancy smart money concept terms is called what?
Broke structure.
No, this is a break of structure.
Change the character.
There you go. Change the character. This is a break of structure right there. Here, and it broke the last high. This right here is a break of structure. This is a change of character. Okay?
Got it.
Some people always ask, hey, how come you don't mark that as a pivot? Someone asked me that. Right here. Let me take this off so you can see what I'm talking about. Right here. See how it kind of goes up, dips, and goes? Why is that not important to me, that level? Because see, from this pivot really is the one that caused what? The break of structure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
from here to here, that move, this pivot point caused that break of structure, not this really. So for
So you
me,
want
this becomes a major pivot point, not here. Okay. You do the same thing on the way down. So right here, I got to change a character. Do I jump in right here? Right when it breaks? No.
no?
Because you see what it did here? You know it's going to pull back. And this massive wick on this one, what is that one called?
Hammer.
Sorry?
Liquidity sweep.
I could barely hear you there. Could you speak up?
I said, what's that liquidity sweep?
You're absolutely correct. Because you have to think about it this way. Wherever these people are, they probably went short from the top. Maybe they started from here and they're trailing their stops down. They're shooting down here. Someone's got an order maybe here, right? Oh, they broke the neckline. I'm going to go short. That wick went all the way up. What did it do? Knock them all out, right? It grabbed orders. That's what it's doing. That's what a liquidity sweep is. Just kicked everybody out of the orders. And what did it do? Start going back in the same direction. That's why you don't chase it when you see that break. You wait. So you wait here. You might have tried it here, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. You had a nice push. You could have said I entered here. You would have got kicked out. Right? So you got kicked out here. I'm going to make this up. I went in here. I'm going to target 3R roughly. That one knocked me out. Right? But once I saw that, this is why stop losses are important. Once I saw that, oh, kept coming up. I'd try it again. Because once I saw this structure here, this is what I'm looking at. And this takes time in the market. You'll start noticing these things. A lot of times when you get these sweeps and these little pullbacks, which are often called bear flags and bull flags, there's many names for them. But this is what price action tends to do. Once it gets a level, it's going to pull back a little bit, gather some momentum, grabbing some orders, and then it's going to try and go in the original direction. Because the original direction was down. So my bias is short. I'm not looking for anything to go back up yet. Especially once I see this wick. That tells me buyers tried, and this volume, just because it's green, doesn't mean buyers. Okay? Because that long wick, that's actually telling me more sellers came in than buyers, right? Because sellers won, correct? Otherwise, this would have been a big green candle all the way up here. Solid. So this candle, even though it's green, looking at the structure, it's showing me, no, sellers got control of this, not buyers. I wait. I see this. Once I see this red candle probably forming or formed, I'm in. And I did take this trade, and I think I took it. I'd have to go back and check the log, but I want to say I think I took it off of this one. I took it like somewhere around here. I took it approximately there somewhere. Same scenario. I was shooting for 1 to 3. This one my stops were tight, just because normally in the afternoon I like to keep them real tight. I rather get stopped out than have my stop all the way up here. That makes it a little bit more difficult because in my threes down here, which in this for today I would have been okay. Just a matter of preference. I wouldn't have taken it that far. I think I was out somewhere about right here. Around there. So now you see how when you mark these areas off, very simple. Anybody can do it. And you'll see price action respecting it. Look, came back, retested that neckline right here, came back down. Break, retest. Down here, bounce. Don't fall for that bounce. Especially when you know it's been coming down. I have a bearish structure, don't I? Very clear, easy to see.
So right there is just creating lower highs.
It's still a bearish structure. So when you see that bounce, oh no, I'm going to take it back up. Don't. Wait. Wait for it to come back, at least get past here. Because most likely it will pull back. And if you notice, price action, most of the time, not always, sometimes it will run through. You're not going to get it. Like right here. You see it broke, ran right through. It happens. Doesn't mean you have to catch every move. Because I just showed you a solid what? 3-4 trades, really? There was one. There's two I took. You probably could have took this one, but I was busy at work. That would have been your third one. I did take this one. So those are 4 solid trades right there. Easily could have been taken. You'd have been done for the day. Each one of those would have been at least minimum 3-hour trades, if not more. You're done for the day. Don't sit there and stare at charts. You know, another thing for some of you guys who may not be familiar with trading view or some of the thing, once you mark those lines, you can set up alarms on these. So I have clicked this one. You can click here. You can have it trigger. One's per bar close, one's per minute, when it crosses, when it's crossing up, when it's crossing down, when it's less than a certain amount, when it's crossing up. When price action crosses it, it'll start signaling an alarm on your screen if you're on a computer. And if you have the mobile, it'll show up on the mobile too. And it even sends a message: SPY, one crossing up, horizontal ray. You can have it say whatever you want. You can say crossing up, pre-market high, create. Next time price crosses that, it'll alarm message. Usually I think it comes up about on the left or right side. I forgot on the computer. And it starts ringing a bell. This is how I sit here and work and trade at the same time. I set up certain levels, areas I'm looking for. I let it tell me. Then I'll come in, take a look at the chart. Looks like a good setup. Okay. If I have time, I'll wait on it. Sometimes put a limit order in. Most of the time, I like to do it market order immediately because I'm a scalper on this particularly. So I'll take it quick, get in and out. That's why you see me post on Discord. Okay, I hit my 3-hour, 5-hour, 8-hour trade. 5 minutes, I'm done. I don't need to be staring at this all day long. Because I don't want to be involved when it's just chopping around. If I missed it, say I missed this, I'm not going to sit there and try and trade this. I'm going to get killed. And you see how those same areas come in handy again. Where did it go? It hung around the 5-minute opening range break. That's all it did. The rest of the afternoon. Someone have a question or? Anybody? No questions today? Well, that's good. Either you guys are really confused and I'm a horrible teacher, or
No, you're a great teacher. We get
combination
it.
of both.
No, we get
Oh
it.
no, never that face. You're a great teacher. I'm just locked in,
Absolutely.
paying attention.
Absolutely are.
Um,
Thank you.
I do have a question. Um, I know you mentioned how different it is for options traders when you get to the consolidated pieces.
mhm.
Could you just give like a brief overview of how you would handle that as an options trade, like with the first trade that you took?
The first trade I would have took, I would have taken it off here. I would have ended it here. With options, if you're day trading options, that is. Keep in mind, I'm talking about day trading. I'd close my position here. Done. Why is that? Everybody's trying to hit the home run. That's what everybody gets wrong. Quit trying to hit the home run. If I have a stop here, and I'm going to be a degen today, and say I did a 0 DTE contract. What was the 0 DTE contract in the morning? I'm going to take a guess and say at the money, it was probably at least 60, 70 bucks. IV wasn't that high today, from what I recall. Okay. That maybe is probably a $30 figuring the delta. I'm guessing just from past experience. So I'm probably risking what? 30? Funny thing is, it's 30 right there. So 30, if you're looking for a 3R, say you didn't know how to target anything, if you just calculate your 2 and 3R, you should be done. Close it up. You're done with that trade. Now that I've shown you this, you could say, I got 2-3 contracts. I'm going to sell one at 2R right here. I'm going to sell my second one maybe at 3R right there. And my last one, because the profit that I made off of these two, if I'm risking what, 30 up here, that means I already made 30 on the other one, right? No, 60. Then I made 90, right? 2-to-1, 3-to-1. So this contract, in essence, if I had 3, is free, isn't it? In essence, I could let that one run. And now that I've shown you what to look out for a possible target, you could have targeted that. That's almost what? 6-to-1? After you trade that, why are you trying to trade something else again immediately? Wait till you see a setup. That's what everybody gets wrong when they're trying to day trade and scalp these options, and they get killed because everyone's looking at their dollar amounts and they're looking, oh yeah, I got this contract. I'm going to make 1,000%. You're not on a day trade. Very rarely, if ever, will you be that lucky. But I can be lucky getting a 2-hour trade, 3-hour trade daily. I do this daily. Yeah, no problem. You'll be consistent, profitable. Your P&L will go this way on your account. If you keep sitting here trying to do a trade like here, oops, wrong one. And I see people in the chat. Oh no, I know SPY's gonna hit, these crazy call outs. It's gonna hit 593 today. Oh, really? Based on what? It can. I'm not saying it can't. It could have today. Some crazy news could have came out, maybe anticipation of tomorrow's reports. It could have drove it down that far. Yeah, SPY can move that far in a day. But the point is, what's my probability? Probability is low for SPY to make that move immediately in the morning like that. Not that it can't, but how many days? Go back and look at the charts and find me how many days it does that consistently, regularly is the key. It won't do this regularly. It will do this. It will do 2. It will do 3. That it will do regularly. Does that make sense?
That's perfect.
Don't try to keep getting that home runs or being like these people being hopium. Oh no, SPY's going to go to 600. It's going to go to 650. Yeah, maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I play probabilities. Unfortunately, I have career-wise, I'm a math, accounting, finance type person. To me, it's data. So the probabilities tell me I'm most likely going to win this on a 2R, 3R than trying to hit it from here to down here. So I'd rather take this every day, which I do. That's profitable to me regularly, like money in the bank, every day. Once in a while, I won't get the right setup. Okay, so be it. I don't have that trade. Slow day. I had one on Friday. I got chopped. Couldn't trade. I think I lost $80 that day. No big deal. Previous day I pulled, I think 3 trades and I pulled like 12, 1500. I don't see a right setup. I don't trade. So be it. Why am I going to force anything? I'll give you one more quick little tip and then we'll see if we can open up for any questions. Another thing you guys seen me talk about a lot are some of these chart patterns. The most consistent patterns I have seen, particularly I see them in stocks, but I see them more on ETFs like QQQ, IWM, SPY more than anywhere else. Is your good old cup and handles, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, more on these ETFs than anywhere else. Showed you before, you had head and shoulders. There was your neckline break that I took the trade. This is an afternoon power hour trade, which I do take sometimes if I see the right setup. If you notice what price action did, once it broke here, let's try that again. Oops. I have a cup right there, right? There's my handle. I have an inverse cup and a handle right here. This would be the neckline really to really go down further, but they ended here. We kind of ran out of runway, so to speak. But this, I did take this trade real quick on futures, very low. I think I took it off of 1 contract or 2 contracts. I was just looking for the break of this handle because I knew it would drop. And like clockwork, it did. And where was I targeting? I was targeting the neckline. So what I was looking for, at the end of the day, I usually have really tight stop losses because price action can get erratic. Right, that's the trade that I took in the afternoon. That's a 1 to 5 trade. This is roughly, I think I had it above this wick, right about there somewhere. 1 to 4, 1 to 5. Right here, I took this on futures. I probably would have took it farther if this same trade happened like in the middle of the day, earlier in the day. I probably would have targeted much lower with multiple contracts because once it broke this, if there's more room, meaning more time left in the day, this probably would have ran down. So this is how you take simple, basic fundamentals, which we started with the whole series with price action, key levels, a simple strategy. Here's your 5 minute opening range break. I just introduced and went in more detail how to use the pre-market high, previous day high, pre-market low, previous day low. Why are they areas of interest? Liquidity is there. Liquidity is always going to go from one area of liquidity to another. Always. It grabbed liquidity here. Once it broke, swept. It did all this. You can do it there or whatever. Where did it shoot for? The liquidity up here. It was trying to take out this liquidity. And then came back down, more or less, up, down, couldn't get through. Because all these here, if price action actually shot up enough, it probably would have done something like this. Occasionally, you will see this, a straight rocket off of it too. Why is that? Remember what I told you earlier about liquidity? You got all these guys sitting here with shorts, right? Oops. That's what makes that area a supply zone or resistance, right? You got a bunch of people sitting here with their stops in here going short. That's what's causing this price to come out of here and push down. And I'm not talking about a couple of hours. I'm talking about the big guys, the AKA smart money, billions of dollars sitting here. They have enough to make price move like that. We don't. Now, if price got and started doing this, what's going to happen to these orders? Anybody? I mentioned it earlier.
It's gonna get stopped up.
Buy is it's
It's
gonna
going to
say
be a buy order,
buy,
right?
right?
Because they
Mhm.
have to close out their shorts.
Mhm.
So all these shorts are going to have to close out, which means a buy order, which is further going to push price up. That's why these areas become areas of interest, not absolute. That's why at these certain areas like this, I watch what price action does. Just because you mark the level or line, I think Mario told me a long time ago when I first started, way back beginning in summer last year, like just because you mark a line in a chart doesn't mean price is going to respect it. Says who? As simple as it sounds, that's very true. Just because I marked a line on my chart doesn't mean price has to respect it. Where does it say that in the rule book of trading? It doesn't. All we're trying to do is using technical analysis with probabilities. What do I think price action is going to do? Because at the bottom end of the day, bottom line for our P&Ls and our trading accounts, price pays. Nothing else. Not my lines and levels and my 10 indicators. This is what pays me. I saw this setup. This move paid me. All this stuff is just me analyzing it, what I think price action is going to do. I could have been completely wrong and it ripped to the other side. But it comes back to probabilities. You trade probabilities is all you're doing. That's the difference between gambling and trading. In trading, we do analysis, try to get probability on our side, and make decisions based on that. Gambling, what are you doing? Pure luck. There's not really any much skill in most of those gambling games. This, if you have some skill with the risk management, you will win. Someone raised their hand. Question. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Hello.
Do you have a video on? I missed like the first 20 minutes of it, and right when I came in, you were going over your 5 minute markers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know you had two videos before this one. Does that go over that as well?
The first one does. I introduced it.
First
I
one,
went over
okay.
it, yeah, earlier in this video too. So this one's also recorded. So once it's finished rendering, I'll have it posted up as well.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yep, no problem. Someone else? Anyone else have a question? Yes,
Yeah, hi
no?
there. I'm Kelvin from the UK.
Yes.
Right, so I'm looking at like loads of these videos and stuff right now through Discord and bits and pieces. How are you guys getting away with day trading? Every time I do it, I keep getting like shut down for a couple of days because I'm trading too quickly.
You're probably using a margin account and you
Yeah,
have less than $25,000.
correct.
So there's two solutions. One, you have more than 25,000, or the other way around it is you switch to a cash account.
Yeah,
Therefore, you will no longer be using margin. Then the cash that you have becomes your buying power for
okay,
the day trade.
okay.
Then you can trade as much as you want. Not saying you should. You can do 1,000 trades a day as long as you have available cash. Keep in mind, any trade you close that day, it will not settle and not be available to you until the next trading day.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It's mate. I'm so limited on platforms from the UK that I can actually do on options. It's unreal.
You try Tasty Trade?
Yeah, can't get on it. Locked.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm stuck with Moo, unfortunately.
Yeah, switch to cash accounts and you should be good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the input.
No problem. What platform do you trade futures on? I trade with Tradeovate connected to TradingView using prop firm Apex.
Is that the only option? Like, this is the first time I'm seeing this platform that you're using. Is that the only platform that you can link to this?
You mean what? Tradeovate or I'm not understanding the question.
I'm sorry, because where you're trading and then your actual charts here are two separate. This is Trading View, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then you said you linked. What was it? The where you actually trade?
Oh, I trade off of here and then I have the accounts linked. I mean, I can show you my prop firm account. It is linked on here.
But what platforms can link to Trading View? I'm sorry if I'm not being clear.
Oh, if you have TradingView, you
Uh
can
huh.
go down here, open trading panel.
Okay.
If you scroll it up, these are everybody. The most common ones are listed here. Like for myself, I have Tradeovate, I have Webull. There's Forex down here. Um, and you do all brokers. You can find all different types of stuff. They're all down here. Some of them I've never heard of, but mine I use are right here. Then you connect from here, and you can link them up.
Do you have a suggest? I mean, obviously, it doesn't look like. I just use Robinhood. So, do you suggest a different one?
I am not aware of any platform that connects here and you can trade options on. To tell you the truth, if you're talking specifically on options, so like for Webull, I have it connected. I do shares. Tradeovate is like the link between the prop firm and my TradingView account. That's for futures. So when I do trade options, I will have TradingView up for my analysis and on my other monitor, or I'll
Oh,
split
I see.
screen
I
it.
see. I see.
I will just execute on Webull for my options.
Right. Right.
That's what I do.
Okay. 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 That would make sense.
Because the tools and screeners and charting, I like it on TradingView more than anywhere else.
Right. So you could just go back and forth.
hmm But the good thing is, like, if you're doing shares, you can connect your Webull directly to it. I think they have Moo now as well. I think I saw on there. Yep, it's right here. My futures is through here. So on the futures, I hit that. I hit my trading panel, and I have it come up right here: buy, sell, put my stop loss in, all that stuff, and click of a button. Options you cannot. Options has to be on the brokerage, so that's why I'll do it there.
So on your 5 minute high and low, is that just when you're doing SPY?
No, you can use it on anything.
Yeah.
You got a ticker in mind?
No.
Uh, let's take everyone's favorite. I had fun with the Tesla cult today,
I mean,
anyways.
is there like a certain type of trading that you would recommend when you're doing? I mean, like you're doing like the pre-market high, pre-market low, the yesterday high, yesterday low, 5 minute, etc.
hmm
What type of trading are you?
I'm looking for what they call intraday or scalps. I'm getting
Uh-huh.
in and out of the market.
Okay,
I'm
so you're
done.
trying to scalp.
Yep. My
Okay.
trades on futures when I do SPY, I'll be lucky if I'm in 5 minutes and longer, maybe 10 tops.
So you're in
Most of
here.
my
Okay.
trades, I'm in 2, 3 minutes. Yeah, like I just showed you on SPY.
Right.
If you look at where I took those trades, I mean, those trades, this is a minute chart.
Oh, that's a minute chart?
That's a minute chart.
Oh, so you're going nuts.
Yeah. So if I got in here and I'm getting out here, there you go. That's a 10-minute trade. That's if I
Right.
got in the whole time. That's what I said. Tops, I'm in there that long. I'm gone. Because with futures, then if I add to my winners, like I go in 2 contracts here, I might
Uh-huh.
add 2 more, 3 more here. By the time I got down here, that's easily what? A 5-to-1, 8-to-1 trade for me? And using a prop firm account, that's a quick $200-300. I'm done. Do you get a couple of those every day? It's not hard to hit 500, 1,000 on that. On a good trend day, you can clear a lot more.
All right,
That's
sorry,
what,
Kelvin again. Right, so obviously looking at minute charts on here right now, yeah?
yeah.
If you open a trade on the minute chart, that's you're just trading on the minute chart, or if you open on a 5 minute chart, you're just trading on a 5 minute chart. I kind of not clarified on it.
That's a matter of preference. For this strategy, the 5 minute opening range break, I would suggest you mark off the 5 and stay in the minute for the trade.
Yeah,
Once that trade is done, if you're more comfortable with the 5, by all means, switch it. Your screen will look like this. But if you notice, you see the same thing.
yeah, you're still saying the same thing. It's just
Yeah. Only thing what happens is you see this,
yeah,
for example, this area
yeah,
on a 5 minute chart, you are probably not going to try and get in until maybe what here, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because looking at the 5 minute, you're going to be like, oh, good push up. Ooh, not good. Big push down. And I kind of got a gravestone and kind of a hammer. So price action here by looking at the 5 is kind of iffy,
yeah.
right? You're not exactly confident. From here, this candle, now you kind of look good, right? Let's just say, for
Probably
example, you're trading 5.
probably where I'd have put an entry.
You probably would have put an entry like this, right? I'm going to do the bottom of the wick. I'm going to make this up and assume you took something like that. That's a 2-to-1 trade. Guess what?
Yeah,
You just
that'd be
got
about
stopped.
what.
You
Yeah,
just got stopped out.
yep,
You would have to look for re-entry again if you're scalping. Now, the same candle, remember I said candles are fractal, right? That's what it looks like on a 5. And this is why I see so much more on a 1 for me. Some people are like, oh, it's too busy. It's too crazy. That's that wick I just showed you. You see how it looks for me?
bloody hell, that's a lot different.
Yeah. So I'm in at the bottom of that wick practically while you're waiting to get in right about here.
Yep.
And this is where you got stopped.
Okay,
So it
that makes
depends
a
on
lot
your
of sense.
trade. I'm not saying you can't do that.
I add a twist to your strategy, and it works for me.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying I add something to your strategy, and it works for me.
Good. Well, glad it helped. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do it on a 5. You just probably have to be a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
And you'll still get a decent entry. But like I said, like on this one, you would have got in much later than me.
Yeah.
And by the time you guys are getting in, I'm looking to get out.
True. Because what I'm saying is like for persons who not sure when to get in and when to get out, the thing that I add, I think might help them. I use the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA on the 5 minute.
That
And
just tells you the trend. Doesn't tell you when to get out.
when it cross, that's when I jump in.
If it cross, I can tell you you're still going to be late.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. I've seen enough of these charts. Let's do. Where's my exponential?
I second that. I've done it too, but I think it's obviously like a rookie move when you first happens and it works out. You're excited.
Would you say a 9 and a what else?
On the 20.
And a 20? Okay.
Yeah.
Not saying it damn work. But trust me, it works. If that's your rules, it will work.
No, I strictly do your own, like what you do with the high and the low. I use that over and over and it works. But sometimes when you're not sure, I use the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. So in the evening hours, I never catch the first one right here in the
Where's your
morning.
9 and your 20?
Yeah, I didn't catch that one in the morning, but I catch the other one in the evening.
You never catch it till here, right?
No, not
Using
not that
AMA.
one. The one with the red candle.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that. I'm just saying the same trades that I explained earlier.
Mhm.
If you use that here, let's go down to 1 so we can do it apples to apples, right? Because I use a 1. So here's a 9 and a 20 on a 1.
So if you go into 215, 210 today, around 215 today.
Mm-hmm.
215 on the 5 minute.
Oh, you want to go 5? Okay.
Yeah. So I catch it right as it crossed, right?
Yeah.
And then that play went, I would jump out at 100%, and then it continued to 180%.
Yeah. You would have
Yeah.
caught it here and probably took it down here or even down here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So just before that big green one, I
Mm-hmm.
had got 100%.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's a matter of what you're comfortable with and what you trade.
Is that
Like,
what you're trying to say, Face? Is that
but see, for you to get your 100, because you're talking in percent. I talk in risk to reward. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You said in that trade an hour.
This one right here, the big green candle right here.
Mm-hmm.
So bring your mouse up to the first red one. The first one, go up more. Go over. No, over to the left.
Yeah.
Over more. Over more. Yeah. So from the top of that to the first red candle, that one right here, I made 100%.
Okay, you made 100%.
Yeah,
How
and
much
I
did
jump out before the green pullback.
how much did you risk?
Mm-hmm. I put like $1,000 in. I made 1,000.
You put $1,000 in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got out. You got out at this green one, or where did you get out?
No, I jumped out before it pulled back.
So you got out here?
No, at that red candle right here, the bottom of the red candle. Over to
You
the
got
left.
out here?
He's on about. He's right down at the bottom. So
I jump out.
Yeah, that's it.
Say I bought it at 598.62, and I jump out at 597.87.
Okay, so you got it right here.
Yeah.
This is your trade. You put in $1,000 to make that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you put 1,000 to make 1,000.
Yeah, and it run to 180 after that, 180%.
Okay. So you made 1,000 to make 1,000. What is that risk to reward? 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Right? For me, on the futures, I think I took that one with like 2 contracts with my stops. I want to say I was about $50 in.
Mm-hmm.
I took that break and got out here. And I was out. That's a 7 to 1.
Nice.
So that's why I said I don't care about dollar amount. That's why I asked you how much did you use. So that's almost a 7 now, right? So I took $50 and made $350. You took 1,000 to make 1,000. So you have a 1 to 1 risk to reward. I have a 7 to 1.
I understand.
Who had the better trade?
Well, I did it on options, so
it doesn't matter. My question remains again.
If you had his trade, he'd have made more if he bought more like contracts. Like since he had $1,000, he could have bought a lot more contracts at $50 a piece and made a whole lot more money if he took your trade.
If I went in heavier, yeah, I could have. But I stick to my rules of how many contracts I take at what time of day. So for me, it's risk to reward. So for me, I can take $50 and flip it to 350 in what, 5 minutes? Because I took that 5 minute candle pretty much. So in 5 minutes, I made 350. 7 to 1. I don't
Listen,
need $1,000. Now next time, maybe when my account gets bigger or my prop firm account, I get a larger one. I'll up it and maybe take 10 contracts, 20 contracts. 7 to 1, I still win.
Yes.
You understand? That's why I
Yeah.
tell people in the Discord, don't go by how much somebody made. I've seen guys put $5,000 on one options play. Oh, I did great. I made $200. Dude, you put up $5,000.
Yeah.
What is you doing? I'm sitting there putting up 20, $50 on a trade. I'm spitting out 6, 7, 8 times my money.
so do you trade on the futures rather than options most of the time?
I used to do this on options as well. Once I learned futures, I prefer futures. Futures, I don't have Greeks to worry about. No calculating delta. No worry about time decay and theta.
Because I've got like a lot of mate, I'm relatively new to all of this, but yeah, you look at options contracts and mate, I can't get my head around a lot of it. But I mean, I'm looking at some of these option contracts to try and get into, and they're like a grand plus. That's the only options I can get.
For what are you trying to get options for? For what ticker?
I know. Let's just do. Let me just pop into my thing on there. So I've got on SoFi at the moment.
Oh, SoFi.
Yeah.
So with options contract, you got 1,000. That seems kind of high for SoFi.
Oh no, that was the other one's like a test. The SoFi one was in at like 260-ish.
Okay, that could be possible depending on how far out you got it.
27.
Yeah. So that's the thing with option contract. With futures, if I go here, this is live running right now. Let me take off all the stuff that I like to use.
I'm gonna have to do some research on futures. Look very interesting.
So this is futures. It's live right now. It's open. So let me do one thing. Give me 1 second. I'll log in my account. And I can show you this real quick.
And that's pretty great, isn't it? The magic that is happening is completely abstracted away from me. I'm still in control of what has been determined that I, the user, can handle.
Here's the futures. This is live. And what happens here, I get this buy and sell on the side and have a take profit. I can hit market, buy, sell. How many contracts I want? 2. So 2. I stop loss at 10, take profit at 15. I can preset everything that I want. When I hit this at that initial point, it'll take the trade. It automatically sets my stops and my take profit, and I can slide it on the screen if I want to. Like say if this move I went short keeps going, I can just draw that stop loss down, drag the take profit, and follow it down if I want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can do one contract. If I go 1, now you see how much I'm risking. This is 1.5, say 10, take stop loss, take profit at 20. That's a 2 to 1. And it tells me down here. See that?
Yeah, the prices are so much easier to get into.
Yeah. You know, on a big move, say it's really moving, there's volatility that day. And I love it when it's volatile because I can make quick moves like this. That's off of one contract.
So you time limited on this contract or not?
No, I just I use a prop firm, so I have to be closed out by the end of the day.
Okay, right.
So
That makes a
that's
lot.
why it makes it easier for me when I set my take profit and stops my risk. I know exactly how much I'm risking and what
Yeah.
area I'm targeting for the trade.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're getting into trades there that I just haven't done. Obviously, just looking at bare options, not futures. You're able to get in and out for very little capital outlay.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Something I'm definitely going to explore. That's for sure.
And for me, obviously, I do work full time, so I usually have a laptop and a different monitor. I'm working. Like I
Yeah.
said, I mark off my levels, maybe set alarms, take a peek when I can, like in the middle of a boring conference call. I'll pull up on the other monitor, look at the chart, see if I see anything, can take it real quick, in and out, done.
What's the downside to futures?
If you don't manage your risk, just like any other type of trading, you will get annihilated. You will blow your account so fast it won't be funny. Because you can lose theoretically all the way down 0 to your account.
Okay.
Real fast. Because it doesn't take much. If I go back to the futures one, let's go back to when did I get that nice spike up? Earlier. Here. It's from earlier today. I missed it, but this is that morning. Look at that whiplash between the wicks on that candle.
Damn.
Yeah. If you were in a trade and you didn't set your stop loss, say you went in heavy with 5 contracts because you were super confident, you would have got destroyed.
Damn.
So it can be very volatile, especially around news being dropped, data drops. Occasionally, if I have a feeling which way it'll go, I'll run it. If not, you can see I anchored it from that morning just to see how price was going to behave with it and followed it all the way through the day. Once it got above, you can see my lines here. I was starting to look for my setups. And the same thing I showed you on SPY. I had a SPY chart open on one window and I was watching this. This is where I was placing my trades. Right here was that previous day high from SPY. The pre-market was right about here. And I was just watching it here. And there's my break for that end of the day trade I took.
So have you got a sort of standard range that you'll put a stop loss at, like a general range, or do you vary it per trade?
I'm not sure. Could you say it again? I didn't get what your question was.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, you're opening trades and stuff. Have you got a certain percentage that you hit your stop loss every single trade, or do you vary your stop loss depending on the trade that you're doing?
I will vary it depending on what the volatility looks like at a particular time of day. Down here, I do have my volatility. I have an ATR down here, an implied volatility. So I keep a track of what the volatility is like throughout the day. And, you can always look at the VIX and see what it's like. VIX is kind of low, sitting about 14, 15. It's not going to be that volatile. So my stops may be tighter. I might do only 5 ticks, 10 ticks if it's off of a push. But as you noticed, I go back what I just showed, I'm more of a structured trader than anything else. So for me, I'm going to look at the chart like so. For example, when I took this one, I got in roughly about here. Once this candle closed, I was looking for entry. I got in here. And for me, it might not be a set amount. I'm going to go underneath that wick right there. And then from there, I'm going to calculate, hey, do I have a good 2 hour trade, 3 hour trade? That's 2 hour right there. That'd be a 3 hour trade. And you can see it hit. This one, I think I took only a 2, though. So I was roughly like right there. So it would have hit right about there. So for me, it comes with an experience. If we're just straight scalping off the 1 minute, plenty of people just put in a set amount, 5 ticks, 10 ticks stop loss, profit target 20, 30 to get your 2 hour, 3 hour. I do that occasionally, but when I see something like this that's based off of structure on that, then I will not. Then I might pull the stop a little bit more, but then I'm gonna shoot for my reward the same way, same ratio.
I guess that's just time in the seat.
Pretty much. You see it enough times, you kind of know. Like this one was much tighter because I know once it did this, it was gonna go, and that's just from seeing enough charts and you know seeing the price action enough and reading candles.
hmm I have a question about leap options.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it, and I'm very new,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not very aware. So if I'm setting the leap option a year out, let's just say September of next year, if I hit, can I set some type of is there a way to set it in your account that when it reaches a certain amount that it just will sell out prior to the year? Or I
Yes.
have to just have an alert? Oh,
No,
mhm.
you can do that. You can do a limit sell.
That's what it's called, a limit sale. So I can say when it reaches, say
It's a
something
limit
is at
order. Yeah. There's two
limit
types of
order.
yeah, you have market orders, which are instantaneous. That's right when you press the button yourself. Get me in,
Okay.
get me out right there. And what you have a limit is when you want it at a certain price. For example, say I wanted to buy SPY once it hits that level. That would be a limit order buy. So when price eventually got here, for whatever reason, I picked 597. Hey, I think once it hits 597, it's gonna go. So it waits, it hits that, your order goes in, and you can tell it, okay, sell me at 599. For example, I'm making it up, whatever it is.
hmm hmm
You could do the same thing on leaps.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate. And now, if my goal is a year out, should I be waiting because I wanted, like say I bought a stock at 140 and I'm actually looking for it to go to 170 something. Should I be waiting? Like I heard you say, you stick to what your parameters are. That's what you do. That's what you stick with. You don't go outside of that. And so my focus is I don't have time to look at this. I work every day, so
Mm-hmm.
I would do the leap and then set those limits and then sell if it reached. But I wasn't sure. Am I to just stick to and wait till next year, or if I see profit, take it?
So if you're saying
Or
140, 170, you're trying to do leaps on Nvidia, aren't you?
Nvidia? Yes.
See, I could tell just by the
No.
price. When you said the dollar amounts and profit targets, I already knew what it was. Okay, so if you look at Nvidia,
hmm
you're doing a leap, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So for you, none of this is gonna matter
Right.
right here. You
Right.
don't care anything here. You might probably want to use the daily for an entry.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Get my chart right. There it is. Use your daily time frame for an entry. My
hmm
suggestion to you was definitely look at the weekly, even the monthly, to see what it's doing, to see if it's
Right.
a good spot for you to get in, get out, and start from there. So you want to look at something like this,
hmm
right? On a monthly
Right.
here, you're gonna do the same thing we did on the lower time frame.
hmm
No different.
Right.
Now, from a monthly standpoint, my question is this: is that going to keep going, or are you going to wait for it to come back? If you're going to go long, what do you think?
Well, being new, I just was thinking I would look to buy in at about 142. Oh, when it drops. Let's see if it would. I'm looking at the chart to try to
Mm-hmm.
determine that, and then say I can set. I don't know what you call it. I can tell my buy if it drops to 142 to buy it or buy a contract, and
Okay.
then like that, and so that's whenever that happens, and then should that happen, then I just hold it, and I want to set a. Did you say it's called a sell?
Yeah, you could put a sell order, limit sell
at
order in.
if it gets to 173, that's like what 30 some dollars. Just sell it at that point.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because I'm not going to get in your personal finance.
Mhm.
Instead of doing a leap option, let me ask this: how come you just don't buy the share if you can't watch the chart that much?
Well, because you have better percentages doing the leap versus
Okay.
just buying the stock. I have done when I first learned about stocks. I've done the growth stocks. I mean the
Okay.
dividend paying stocks. So I got that, and then it's time for me to do something a little more aggressive. What I call aggressive.
Okay.
Get right. So that would be like leaps. That works. And
Okay.
then individual stock, like you said, I can do the apples and the whatever types of AIs and stuff like that.
No problem. I just want to make sure. See, you got other stocks and other things in your portfolio. I just
Oh
didn't
yeah,
want you to sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do leaps, and I'm going to get insanely rich within 2 3 months because my leaps are going to hit." I'm like, "Don't do that."
no,
Yeah, if it's a part of your portfolio, hopefully a proper position size of it, yeah, there's no problem. You could do that. But keep in
okay.
mind, unlike shares, your chance of it dipping and that affecting you more on options, a lot more than on shares. Keep that in mind. You're gonna have to write out if it does one of these moves, say on a weekly.
Wait, I didn't understand what you mean.
If you look on the screen, this
Yes.
dip here on shares won't hurt you as bad as it will on option. Is all I'm getting at.
Oh, okay. I see.
Okay.
But isn't the whole thing in a leap? It's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm waiting a year out, or I'll set an alert,
Hmm.
right? And that says, "Hey, it went up at or above this amount." Then I know, oh, I got to look at this and
Okay.
get
Yeah, you
out of
can most
like
definitely do
something
that.
like that.
I would say
Do out.
think of your take profit is good. But say you bought in at 140, my
Hmm.
thing would be figure out where you think your trade is wrong. Figure out your stop first. Then worry about your take profit.
Now, when you say my stop, meaning how high I wanted, I think
No,
it's going to go.
how
What?
much are you willing to lose?
Let's break that down. Let's grab that.
Well, I'll just figure if I'm doing a year out, right, I set an alert that, and then
If
no, it's
that
all a guess that it's going
that's
to hit somewhere, and then
if that option goes down to say 120 for some reason, you will be on a absolute zero. So you need to cut your losses at some point, is what the man's saying. So you need to figure out, okay, I'm willing to lose £200 on this play, or $200 in your guys' case, $200. If it hits that margin, I'll get out and I'll keep some capital, or at least I'll have lost a bit, but I've got a big chunk of my money still that I've got, and
But
then get back in.
you are absolutely right. What I'm getting at, if you notice from any of the Zoom calls that I did,
Mhm.
what's the first thing I actually figure out? I figure out where's my trade going wrong. Then I figure out
Mm.
how much I'm going to make. That's all I'm
Mm.
trying to get to. So let's see. Here's a weekly. You want to go a leap, and what did you target? You said like 170, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna put you up here.
Hmm.
We're making it green for your money because you're gonna hit 170, right? Everybody
Mm.
knows where the stock price is gonna go. Okay, so you got that. Now you tell me. I'm gonna say you bought it today for kicks. Price is here today. That's your target. You tell me, where are you wrong? Is your trade idea wrong here, 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 or all the way down here? That's what I'm trying to get.
Right, but okay, and I'm not understanding when you say where if I'm going out a year, and you say down there is I can't really see what you're. Oh, that's saying.
This is $90 down here.
Oh, okay, I couldn't see it.
My point is, this is the red shaded area is what you're
Okay,
losing. At what
right.
point do you stop the bleeding? Here, here,
Oh,
here, here, here,
gotcha.
here.
So I always need to put some kind of stop in there.
Yeah, you got it. That's my point.
Okay.
What
If the
part of
trend
your trade
is going
idea are
against
you
you,
wrong?
right?
Gotcha.
Because it goes back to everything I talked about in the trade. It's a risk to reward.
Right.
So if my stop is down here, that's less than 1.71. That's less than a 2-to-1. Yeah, in options you can multiply that, but just to give you a visual idea,
Mm-hmm.
because there's Greeks involved and everything else, so I'm not going to get into that
Right.
right now. But just to give you
Right.
an idea for the trade, you see my point? But
Yeah.
then
So.
you
Mm-hmm.
have what I call the hopium traders. Price goes all the way down here. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, I still believe it's gonna get there. Okay, if you say so, it might get there. But you telling me you're willing to lose all that to maybe it gets back down to here all the way a year from now, which would be here November? I don't want to hold on to a loser that long. You kidding me? That's my
Right.
point.
No. Yeah. No. I got you. I didn't know. Again, no, I didn't know when you set an option, a leap option, that of course, I'm hoping that it goes forward.
Mhm.
If it and it, but you also need to be setting a limit of when you're going to get out of there. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So, because you said you work, so
Yeah.
obviously, you can't. You said like you can't watch the charts all day. So the first thing I
Yeah.
want to do, first step would be, okay, if I'm getting in here, where do I say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. Price went against me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
World War III kicked off after New Year's. Beats me. I don't know. Stock
Mm-hmm.
market tanked 1,000 points on January 2nd. I'm just making it up. You have no idea.
Sure.
This thing
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden can be down here at $90. Maybe it drops all the way down here, which is not out of the question. That was just in April of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it can't do it. The question
Right.
is it likely?
Right.
That's what I'm
So
getting
you.
at.
Mm-hmm. Well, so your best advice to me as a new person, setting a leap option, I should set it up how?
You set up when you think your trade idea is wrong, okay? Which in this case, for leaps, you always want to go. Leaps are funny. You can take a look at the monthly and you can see it's running pretty well, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got a
Mm-hmm.
swing point down here and a swing point down here. That's off of monthly. So
Mm-hmm.
you're anticipating up here. So my question is, how long do you think before it gets to 170 is the question for it to
Uh,
make that move there?
I don't. I'd have to. I don't know. I'd have. I know what I've been doing is just looking at the chart and seeing what it's previously been doing.
Okay. And that's
And
a good way to start. But then the other thing I advise you to do is not only look at that, look at where it's come from. Has it had
right.
a good pullback? Is it on a run now? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Question is, just like I showed on the lower time frames,
Mm-hmm.
higher low, higher here. If I buy here, where's my stop? A good stop. Some people might say, oh, go below that candle. Well, yeah, you know what? That's pretty easy for it to kick it out. You always want to try and find a pivot point, is what I like
Okay.
to call them.
Okay.
So, like, if you got in, this is a weekly. So, if I got in somewhere in this week, my stop probably be down here.
Okay. I see. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good spot. just to give you an example. And if it goes, so if I took that same one, say you got in the middle of that week, because I'm on a weekly chart,
Right.
it's like this. And you're, I don't know, what was your target? 170?
170. Mm-hmm.
I can't get it. Right there, roughly. That's
Mm-hmm.
a 5 hour trade. And on options, you probably make more than that percentage wise
Mm-hmm.
if it continues to move. See, that would have been a beautiful spot to get into
Right.
for a trade. Now,
Mm-hmm.
here, if you get in, question is where are you putting your stop? Here? Maybe. That's what I'm trying to get you to figure out. Do you think that's a good spot to put it? Maybe under here or maybe under that wick, the red.
The
That's a
red
better
one.
pivot point.
Mm-hmm. I would think the red one.
See it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then say you're shooting for 170.
Mm-hmm.
There. That's what you're looking at then. That's what I'm trying to get you to think of. This part's
Okay.
easy. Everybody want to call out Tesla 600. Nvidia is going to be at
Mm-hmm.
1,000. Microsoft's going to be at 5,000. I hear it all day long. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that don't mean nothing. Maybe it will one day. That's fine. I'm not worried about the move from here to here. I just trying to get my little piece of the change here, here, and keep doing it again and again.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
But when you do the leaps, you're going to do the same thing I did in the lower time frames. You're just going to do it on the higher, which means you're going to need a lot more patience.
Right. I have to.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think the key factor is definitely you've got to look at getting your stop losses in, just
Stop.
to protect your investment.
Yep. You don't.
Speaking of, so can you show me the board where, like, if you're going to, like, I'm going to put that in because I didn't notice like where I can put a stop or I see how I can buy the lead. I mean, the contract.
What trading platform were you using?
I use Thinkorswim.
I don't think my Thinkorswim is updated on mine. I do have it, but I haven't used it forever. I would have to look it up. I do have Thinkorswim, but I haven't used it forever, honestly.
I mean, you can tell me on yours. I can figure out on mine where it is. Well, it's a paper setup.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that off a live call actually right now.
Okay.
Just from my account. I would have to double check which account numbers and the name and all that good stuff that shows up when I open it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But what you should look for is just look for stop loss orders on Thinkorswim.
Stop
And
loss.
yeah,
Okay.
you want a stop loss order, and you can
Mm-hmm.
set if you're buying a call, put a market, limit sell order.
Limit sell order. Okay. And
Okay.
stop loss.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Stop
Figure
loss
out where where that should be in. And I think on Thinkorswim, you should be able to, if I remember correctly, do it like Webull. Look up one cancels the other. It's called OCO.
OC. One cancels the other. Okay.
Yep.
One.
So basically, it's this that when I do this on the chart.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is just like I showed you on the futures. It puts in, hey, kick me out of the trade here, and or take profit, kick me out of the trade here. If that's hit or this hit, trade's closed.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Okay.
So it's basically what I showed you here, over here. See, I have a take profit and a stop loss.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, guys. No one has any more questions. Wow,
Hey,
we
Faith,
went
I have a
almost 2
question.
hours. Okay.
Hey, Faith. So, question for you about like setting the stop loss, when like day trading like options. So I see I know it's probably a whole lot easier when you're setting your stop loss and stuff. When you're trading on the same platform that you're charting over. Um, But as far as like, so I use Robinhood, and I know it's on like the 1 minute time frame, it moves pretty quickly, especially when you're kind of like getting in the trade and getting out. Like as far as like setting the stop loss, like I see how you're doing it, like your risk to reward when you're like on TradingView when you're charting it. But as far as like when you're actually trading it, it's like that 1 minute time frame moves pretty quickly. And I typically, bounce between that 5 minute and the 1 minute, almost similar to like you do. But it's been moving pretty quickly. Do you have any like tips for that or anything specific that you kind of use or set it up?
For that, it is honestly very difficult to do it with options. Not saying it can't be done to scalp with it.
Yeah.
That just comes with a lot of practice and quickness. And the reason I don't like doing it with Robinhood, if you put the stop order in once you buy a contract, you have to cancel it to take profit.
Yep. Yep.
That's why I do not like it for scalping at all, and I don't use it for scalping. I'll use it to swing. I'll use Robinhood for shares I've done in the past. I did use it when I did show that in the Discord where I blew my account when I first started. That was off a Robinhood account because the price action for scalping just moves too quick for me to go through it. Robinhood does it now. Supposedly they have the new platform. Honestly, I've not tried it or looked into it.
Okay.
I
I
primarily
think it's that
use.
Robinhood Legend.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
not looked at it yet. Honestly, I've seen people post about it and whatever, but I've not tried it myself. But that's why
Okay.
I primarily, when I use options in that manner, occasionally for day trading, I'll use it, on other tickers where I think it'll make a decent move for the day. I will
Okay.
use Weeble because just like I showed you on here, where I can
Yeah.
set it. Once I put the order in, it'll mark the stop loss, say here, and take profit here. I can slide them on the screen. You can do that on Weeble too.
Okay. Now, is that because I see you have like, what is it, like the Mezza 4?
This is
Is
our
that like,
futures.
okay, that's in futures.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so, but for Webull, you can't, with TradingView, you can't do options.
No. So
Okay.
then what I do is just like I said before, like I do this, I'll have this open and then I'll have this open, either on the side, usually it's on my other monitor. So I'll be
Okay.
watching price action here and then I'm trading it off of here is what I'll
Gotcha.
do.
So you're seeing it both like right next to
Yeah.
each other.
Right. Or I have a multiple monitor set up, dual monitor. So I'll have like Weeble open on one, and then I'll have this whole thing, all trading view to watch the chart.
Okay. But it's better, you said it's better on Webull than it is on Robinhood.
Outside of the new one, I haven't tried the new setup that they have, but yeah,
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that.
no problem. All right, guys. If there's not anything else, I think we'll call it a night. We went on an hour over. Wow. I was figuring we'd be done in an hour. It went 2 hours. Okay, guys. Anyone else have anything? If not, I'm going to say good night.
Good night.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Fish.
Mate.
Thanks for the time.
Good night.
No
Thank you for your
problem.
time.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. Talk to you guys later.
Do so. All right.
I just said subscribe.